Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the stream. It's the Delta Motor Racing feeder series. Well, today in Silverstone, as you can see, that's gonna be very interesting. Probably not as exciting as the Austrian Grand Prix that we've just hopefully all witnessed in real life. What a race! I'm not sure, guys, if I can cast this game, man. This was absolutely amazing, that race. 9 DNFs. When was the last time we saw that? And wow, incredible stuff there. I'm still a little bit speechless, so but I hope that won't be for long. We've got 20 drivers in the lobby. As usual, we're just waiting for everybody to ready up, and there we go. The timer has started, 30 seconds to go until we're loading into qualifying. Of course, as usual, we've got the short qualifying, 18 minutes. And we've got 50% race distance. And of course, with it being Silverstone, there could be some rain, but I just see the lobby settings in clear, so probably not gonna be raining. Unless that's been changed. My game is bugged out, whatever, we all know what's going on. But there we are. Alright, PK, I'll let you enjoy the music. You like it so much. I can send you a link as well if you want. Yeah, let's hold up. I'm gonna send you the link, okay? Then you surely must be happy, man. Must be. If I can find it. Yeah, this must be it. Yes. So, for anybody in chat wondering what that beautiful music is, I ripped it off from League of Legends Esports. There it is. Have fun, guys. Alright. Word on the street. You got a fat cock. Oh, thanks. That's appreciated. Good to know. Alright. Let's go. Let's go in game. Thanks, guys, for joining, of course. Here we are. In beautiful Silverstone. I already hear some engines. That's amazing. They don't have any time to waste to get out on track. Who's gonna be the very first one out? I see a Racing Point. That is Bondrax. Very active on YouTube, by the way, under the same name. If you're interested. He just uploaded a video I've seen of why league racing is better than ranked in F1 itself. Got a Williams behind, wanting to race, I guess. Alright, perfect. So we've got lots of similar names in here again. We've got some new names as well. But of course we've got Milan, we've got CrashVettel, Bomber, Floodred, Tombermans, Tush, FMC Shriver. We've got of course Fraser, who always organizes this league, so big shout outs to him. Elham, welcome back. I feel bad for Albon in the Austrian Grand Prix, so do I, as well as for Brazil. But I think that is overshadowed by my feelings for Lando Norris. What a result for him. And I mean, that means 2 podiums for McLaren in 3 races. Who would have expected that? You would have all called me damn crazy. But carrying on, I think Sakujo was in here as well before, and we've got the Weasel again, Thomas Jensen, this time in the Ferrari, Laia, Bondrax, and then we're gonna go through the new guys, of course, later in just 1 second. As we're spectating Bondrax on a fast lap, fitted the soft tires, looking to qualify on these, braking just before the 50-meter board here, getting a nice turn in there. Back to the outside, and this is very tricky to get right, these first few corners. I think that is Village, right? I should probably get a track map up again, because I really don't know the corner names here, which is probably illegal if Somebody calls himself a caster and doesn't even know the corner names for Silverstone. Incredible. Can't do that. Can't sub or donate, shittiest streamer 2020. Yes, sorry, I haven't got the affiliate yet. I should say that's some tax stuff. And we have a Spinala, or somebody just standing there. Okay, interesting. As Bondrax is coming through. I get Beckett onto the DRS straight. Unsurprisingly, a purple sector 2, as he's the first guy out. Coming up to the chicane, the last 3 corners here. Braking late, hitting the apex nicely, Apex Kings. They're avoiding the sausage curbs nicely. Doing a 128.2. Let's see where that puts him. We've got Milan as one of the next guys to come through. How do I call this? I guess I'm gonna call this Williams David here. He came through with a 128.6. Milan with a 127.4. So that is the question then. Can we maybe see a 126 here today? Is he able to improve even half a second? It's gonna be very interesting. Flat Red, his teammate. Respectful difference behind. There's 3/10 in P3 now. Pit F1. I'm just gonna call him Pit. 127.6. Pretty close already in front. 2/10. Could be closer though. Have some other guys still on a fast lap out. Of course, CrashVettel is in there. Tush just came over the line. Probably invalidated his lap. Got Fraser pretty far off track. The Weasel just started his fast lap. So CrashVettel comes back into the pits. It seems like nobody's setting a lap in the near future. Schreiber did a decent lap. Yeah. For an F2 car. Oh my god. Banned. Oh, there are some predictions coming in. P1 Flat, P2 Vettel, P3 Schreiber. Vito, you know Vettel isn't racing here. This is CrashVettel, obviously. Come on, man. Get it right. DNF, Milan, Fraser, and the Weasel. Why do you wish for Fraser to be so unlucky? Of course, these are not vicious. These are just... Well, first of all, the Weasel leaving the session whilst he was on a lap in the garage. What? Did he just TP in there? The hell? What is going on? Right, Fraser's there on a fast lap. No, he isn't. It's a 126 already, and he isn't even close to the last few corners. Probably coming back to the pits, I think. Oh yeah, he's getting ready to do a lap on these tires, it seems like. How did John leave the session? I haven't seen that. P1 Fraser, he's calling it. He is calling it. Let's see what he can do. On board with him. Rudico, I think you can't. I think only the bigger Twitch streamers can do that. I think only when you're affiliate or something you can lower the resolution. So I opted to go for a 1080p 60 FPS for racing, the best option. I can do it myself, but I don't know about the other guys. Maybe there's some other Twitch clients as well. I really don't know, man. Weasel has joined back, that's good at least, so he will be able to set some laps. Oh, Fraser getting a little bit of oversteer there, as you can see, some extra rotation. Let's see if he gets held up. Well, he holds himself up. Can he rescue the car? Yes, he can. Loses the rear. Yeah, loses the rear there. In the twists and turns of Maggots and Beckett. Extra drift. Indeed, extra drift. Alright. Got a new guy here. We've got Flat, Basiloni, and Sakucho. Coming through, Flat seemingly losing the rear as well, just a little bit on entry there. Sakucho invalidates his lap in the meantime. Go watch him over. Okay. That's appreciated as well. Let's see if Flood gets a similar amount of oversteer. Coming through there now. That seemed to be a little more stable than Fraser before. As Sakucho just shifts down a little on the straight, which is not advised really. Flood going out pretty wide, that's not the best exit there. Still activating the DRS. Is Sakucho going to go for a move here in qualifying? That would certainly not be the wisest idea. And he just backs off. So we can go on board with Flood, who is definitely going to finish his lap. Doesn't seem like too competitive. He's already at a 125 here, just coming through the final few corners. That's probably gonna be, yeah, it's a midfield time. 9th there. We've got Sticker Rule. Just let's go through some new guys. We've already had a look at Pitt F1. We had a quick look at David. Thomas Jens in the meantime, 127.1. Very close. Scratching on the 126s now. To continue on, David here. IGK David in the Williams. Either changes the game attack or he's new. Sticker Rule. I'm not sure, is he new in this league? I can't remember his name as he goes off track. Let some people by, setting a fast lap, and that McLaren is up for some games. Vlad, of course, we had a look at just a second earlier. Coming through again. On the old pit straight here. Sam Kapch? Sam? I'm just gonna call him Sam. So, Sam in the Red Bull for today. Validated lap time, but he's either new or with a new name in here. Big Summer Blowout, you can remember him from last time in the pits now. And then I think we've got the usual guys in here. And here's the current provisional pole setter, Thomas Jensen. Changed teams to the Ferrari, so certainly interesting after the performance that Ferrari has shown. I mean, they got a podium, but that was certainly not expected from them after the last few days. CrashVettel in the meantime also setting a time going faster than Milan, Pitt and Vlad. Well, and the whole rest of the grid in P2 in 27.2. A very fast driver. Oh, sorry, I completely ignored Fabio Verdi. He's in the pits right now. He's also either new or changed his name. And I think we've got a Sauber of Flat Red coming through now, improving by 6/10, putting his car in front of Thomas. 127.1, very close up top now. And I just saw some other guys on a fast lap too. This is Pitt. Can you make the command Apex and then just tags PK? That is actually a pretty good idea. hashtag Apex Legends. As we've got Pitt F1 going 2000s faster than Flood Red here. Provisional pole now. Damn, this is close again. 2000 separating P1 and P2. Then we've got another 30,000s to Jensen behind. And then with a little bit of a respectful distance, we've got CrashVettel P4 right now, 1/10 behind 3rd place. The Weasel has reconnected. Set a lap time good for P5, that is very nice. And we do have a Renault not having a good day here. Coming out of the old pits, I think. He just had a little moment there. I think he botched his setup. You can see it right here. Is the back of his car wants to overtake him all the time. That is certainly not what he wants to see. Sakucho is just behind Fraser. Not even set a lap yet. Coming through now for the first timed lap. It's looking good so far. What's it gonna be? Probably 127, 128. P8. The two Force Indias, the two Racing Points, the two Aston Martins, whatever they are. P7, P8. Sharing a row on the grid then. Looking pretty good for them. Liar, the only one without a lap for now. He's just coming up on the sector 2 split. It's gonna be a 103.2. But mind, it always shows purple. I don't know why. It probably shows purple even for Kavunis. If you guys know who that is, if you guys followed TN Esports, then you surely know. Coming around the final corner there, Lord Kavunis. P4 in front of his teammate, very closely as well, 400th of a second. This is one qualifying session once again. We've got Thomas on a fast lap. Let's go on board with him. Let's see if he can get like his lap invalidated. Okay, he will get his lap invalidated. He's got the time to go out for one more attempt, as Bomba retired from the session. I can have a look from Liar's perspective. Okay, that is certainly a place to bin it. Very interesting indeed. CrashVettel is out on a fast lap, actually. Just coming down the old pit straight. Has to lift quite a lot there, as Fabio and Milan improve their times just a little. Fabio now absolutely in the fight for pole position. Although he has half the lap to go. I'm not sure if he's gonna make it back to the pits in time and out again. But just keep in mind, my timer up there is bugged as always. Welcome to spectator mode. Let's hope that it gets better for F1 2020. But here's CrashVettel coming around, improving by 2.5 tenths of a second. And again, 2 thousandths separating. No, actually not. I'm sorry. That's 1/10 and 2 thousandths separating CrashVettel and Pit F1 now. So that's put a tenth between these two guys. Maths. Never do maths on stream. Never. As we see Blood Red coming out of the pits. So is Thomas Jensen for sure. And Pit F1 already on his outlap. Yeah. That is absolutely incredible. Let's have a look at the gaps. P1 to P8 separated by just 3.8 tenths. As Milan was just a little bit off track there. In preparation of a new lap, or what's he actually doing? Well, anyways, Pit, the first guy to come out to set the last few laps as Milan retires, in P7 only. So we know that from him, that he likes to retire. We've actually got a Toro Rosso of Liar on our outlap behind Pit F1 here. So if that was some planning for some slipstream, then I guess that doesn't work. So there's Pit F1 now coming through. Onto the old pit straight again. Let me get a little map up so my description of the track isn't quite as crappy. Silverstone track map through Maggots and Beckett's. Onto the back straight. He's up by 2 tenths already now. Some more guys have already Retired from the session. We've got Fraser, Bondrax, David, Blood, and Bomba all retiring. And here's Pitt now coming through the last two corners. Is it gonna be the 126? And yes, it is the 126.9. Who's in front next? Thomas Jensen will be the next guy to come through. As actually my qualifying timer seemed to work this time. That is incredible stuff. Coming through to cops now. Very tricky to get right. If you go outside a little bit too much, it's gonna be instant disqualification for this lap. Nice through Beckett's there. How much is he up? He tries to get a little slipstream there from everybody. Oh, that was very close indeed. He is up just barely to hundreds, I think. So I just saw he misses the apex. PK Apex Legends pushes too much. And it's out of the session there. Yeah, Fraser, we saw that, man. That was incredible stuff there. That was an adventure you did. And Flood Red, I think you abandoned his lap. He's going very slow indeed here. That's not gonna be an improvement. We've got Laya still out. With a few cars behind chasing him. Well, diving back into the pits. What is Laya going to be doing now? What is he able to do? It's gonna be a 126.9 and that is mega close. And there they crash. Of course, just on... yeah, after the checkered flag, so that's the game's fault. We've got Pitt on pole position. We've got Laya P2 and CrashVettel P3. Martin saying, I invalidated 3 out of 4 laps. That is rotten luck. It's only P15 for you. So that's guaranteeing some action for sure. Blood Red, disappointing veto at least. And there we are. Look at the gap here, 9 thousandths of a second between Pit F1, Laya. And then we've got a 10th back to CrashVettel. Everybody in 1 second up to P10. Quick look at the race director. And there we are. Let's have a look through. Is there any penalties? Luckily not. No collisions in qualifying. That always ruins a day. If you get some collisions in qualifying, and even though it might not be your fault, the game just punishes you. All right. So we're back, waiting for players. There wasn't really any highlights really. I could have clipped Fraser's little excursion into the track there. But I guess we're gonna be on the way very shortly. 15 seconds to go. I'm not sure if there's a formation lap this time. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Just waiting for the last 2 guys to load in. And here we go. Is it lap 0 or is it lap 1? It is lap 0, so there's gonna be the formation lap. Led by Pit F1. Setting pole position. Very nice effort of him. Let me set up the overlay. That is... Oh, let's go for a lap data as well. Looking very good. On board with Pit F1. In his orange Papaya McLaren. Pole position. Shows up. And is on pole. Behind we've got Laya in the Toro Rosso. Was pretty far behind, well, and is pretty far behind the grid anyway, so he didn't pull away quite as nice as we would have hoped. And he would have hoped, surely, but it's all good. He'll just go through everybody. Also in qualifying was, well, always there in the top 5, but surprised us then with a very strong P2, only 9,000 behind Pit F1. That gap of course opens up on the grid then. The grid slots aren't only 9,000s apart from each other. Let's get on moving. We've got CrashVettel in P3. Very nice effort of him as well, being in the reach of 1/10 of a second in qualifying. I've got Flat Red, P4. I wanted to say only P4, but looking at this, it's league racing. P4 is still a pretty nice result there. Thomas Jensen back on the grid, so there must have been a collision, and he's got the classic nails in the car. Whilst we're looking at him, let me quickly have like a little look. Alright, sorry for that. Fabio disconnected, he's ghosted. Milan in P7 only, retiring very early once again. Also the Weasel a little bit disappointing this time, only P8. Fraser P9 even with a mega oversteer set up there. That will hinder him in the race for sure. Bondrax P10, P11 Big Summer Blowout, Sakujo P12, Sam in P13. I've got David, Shriver, Stegarul, Flat, Bomber, Tush, and Tombermans. Sorry that I have to go through you guys that quickly. Just plainly ran out of time. And we're here for the race start. What are these camera angles, man? This looks alright, I guess. And we've got 5 lights. And it's go, go, go for the Silverstone Grand Prix. I think that is a very nice start there for Flat Red. He's already on the, well, yeah, on the rear of the... Wow, that's a huge crash. Wow, never mind. Guys, holy damn. What has been going on? There has been a huge crash. I think both Mercedes were involved. Sakucho and certainly Thomas Jensen was involved there as well. Oh my god. Enough waffle there. Let me get a replay done of that. We've got a virtual safety car, so just let's have a look at that. So we're still on the grid, waiting there for everybody to line up. And there we go. Just have a look at the back of the grid this time. That was absolutely insane stuff there. And there's everybody away. And just have a look at the back of the grid. There's gonna be a huge crash. Yeah, that was a Red Bull and a Ferrari sideways, as well as a Force India. And we're back to racing here with a yellow flag in Sector 2. That is Fraser, unfortunately, doing the same thing that he did in qualifying. And look at that huge gap between the top few drivers, especially the top 2, top 3 there, even down to Milan there, all in one nice package. And there's a huge gap behind Bondrax and Sam. And that is, of course, well, Shriver first of all in the pits. Interesting for sure, as the midfield is coming through there. Thomas Jensen leaving the session, obviously. In the front, Pitt and Laya are fighting. We've got Shriver, Segarul and Fraser in the pits already on lap 1. Might be worth going on the hot tires, but they will probably not last until the end of the race. As we are on board with the top 3 here. Laya is really close to the back of Pitt. There's not really any action behind going on, so let's just enjoy this view from Laya's car. This really needs... Oh, that is some oversteer for Pitt there as well. Similar to Fraser. But gets the better exit out of Chapel there. But That is very nice indeed, and behind Milan and Flatred being similarly close together. Milan just extending the track. I don't even think you get too much of a penalty if you do it there. And yeah, that start, that was pretty insane for sure. CrashVettel actually with the fastest lap of the race here in lap 2. He's chasing down Liar and Pitt. DRS is enabled, so are we gonna see some action on this lap? Drivers are just now turning in to the hangar straight, I think. Is that the hangar straight? It is not the hangar straight. What am I talking about? That's the Wellington straight. Hangar straight is on the other side of the track, and here we go. Liar trying to go for a move on Pitt. He's still there on the outside and has to yield. But he's still somehow there, still side by side with Pitt. Through Cop's corner. Not a corner you want to go side by side through. Yeah, Fraser saying car's undrivable. Oh, you lost it again there. I saw. Okay. And there Pitt is going a little bit wide there. Definitely compromised his exit this time around. Is CrashVettel also gonna have a look on the outside? He has a look, but of course Pitt covering that off very nicely. And let's go through the other drivers on the grid. We've got Sam on Bondrax, pretty close to each other. We've got the Weasel fighting the Haas of Tush right there. They're still side by side. And the Weasel seemingly either having an issue, or just lagging. As Fraser leaves the session as the session host. That's never a good idea. And then we have the top 5. Milan obviously made his way past Flood Red at some point. CrashVettel is still behind Pitt. As Pitt makes his way past Liar again. Yeah, it's a little bit laggy. Let's hope that the session transition between the drivers, the lobby host migration has gone over pretty nicely. But Pitt is in front again. Mega close battle here in front, and look at the traction that Crash has on Liar there. Pitt just touches the grass on the outside. Lucky he didn't spin there. And there we see Crash on the outside of Liar. Not fighting back, just sticking back. And Milan actually on the outside, braking way earlier than Liar is. Trying to get the better exit there. And that move is done. I've got the Weasel. I think he just made his way past David. So the Weasel overtaking Tush again, overtaking David. In the back we just had Fabio, who I think is still disconnected anyways. And Tomberman's fighting disconnected versus connected. That is very interesting indeed. And in the front I think we've got Big Summer Blowout and Sam fighting. Just coming on to the Wellington Straight. Sam not having the DRS. Big Summer Blowout sure does. That is a very nice view. Thank the camera gods for these pictures. And that is the position for Big Summer Blowout, or is it? The Red Bull is still there on the inside, has the nose in, as Big Summer Blowout swipes across him. This position is mine now. Through Cops there with the overtake. Sam, what a madman. That was surely 1.5 overtakes, man. Incredible stuff. And in the front, of course, Liar got overtaken by CrashVettel just a minute ago. Liar now track extends to the outside. Pitt still defending for P1. It's not done yet for CrashVettel. He still needs to get past Pitt. And just judging from the pure pace of these guys, it sure seems like Crash has the legs on Pitt. He's gonna make an overtake in just due time. I think we've got like a haunted McLaren in front. We do indeed, as you can hear. So let's leave that guy alone. And that is a very nice draft for CrashVettel there. Turning in way earlier than Pitt. Pitt, of course, with the late apex there then. Can he get something out of this? Well, he gets a slidey back of the car out of it. And that's the overtake done for CrashVettel. He's now in the lead of this race. Got another yellow flag. And we've got a crash between Big Summer Blowout and Sam. I just saw both cars all turned around there. And that is Sam back down to P10. The Weasel is on the rear of Flood. Track extends. Mediums versus softs. And we're gonna change over now to the tire. So the majority of the grid is on the softs. We've got some medium runners and we've got somebody with a run. The Weasel on Flood, securing P8, just where he started. That's where he's back. And in the front we've got Milan now attacking Liar. He was pretty close, back on the hanger straight. But now it's a new lap. He will surely get the DRS. But that is just a little bit too far back, I guess. And Flood Red also with a little bit of distance behind Milan there. But then we've got a 5-second gap to kind of the midfield, led by Bondrax. You could just see Shriver in front. I think is he lapped? Or is that just still the car Fraser coming through there? No, that is indeed Shriver. Already lapped. It's a little bit nightmarish race, and Pitt somehow made his way past CrashVettel there again. Completely missed that, guys. So he's got it all to do once again, a second time. Going very close there, almost sitting in the gearbox of Pitt. As he loses the rear end of the car. Maybe he just overheated his tires a little bit. Liars now. Maybe having a look back at Crash, as they all lag just a few pixels to the front. Crash going very wide indeed. Liar probably gonna get a better run out of this corner right here onto the Wellington straight. And it sure looks like it. As we've got Milan and Bondrax in the pits. Looking for the undercut, surely. Liar not being able to go for a move there. And down the back straight we've got Tush. Sorry, that is not the back straight. And that is not really how you want to do it. Tush taking a little ride through the gravel, doing a Bottas with a very unsafe re-entry of the track. Your tires are still a little bit hot there, so just, yeah, take it a little bit easy there for just about half a lap and all will be good. Big Summer Blowout was just overtaken by Flood. But this doesn't seem like it's gonna stay like this. Is Big Summer Blowout going to go for a move that's probably ill-advised? No, he won't. And in the meantime, Liar made his way past CrashVettel, who dives into the pits looking for the undercut on both cars in front. A very smart thing to do, surely. And can anybody tell me how Liar is on 5 laps old tires? In a 9-lap race, he surely did. He didn't pit, did he? What is going on? Thanks, game. Maybe I'm just dumb. I think we've got Sakucho and Tombermans. Well, Sakucho's disconnected. So Tomberman's gonna go for a move. It's pretty easy on a ghosted car. But he is past. As we've got some more guys pitting the Weasel as well. The Red Bull in the pits going on to the mediums. Really interesting to see if these tires will go through to the end, as we had earlier Sam and Pig Summer Blowout having a little blowout, crashing right about here, spinning each other, and Sam just is almost back where he was before. And if you remember, Milan actually pit 2 laps ago, and he got the overcut on CrashVettel, who just got overtaken by Liar and Pit F1 and then dove it into the pits. He's on 1 lap fresher tires, got a better run through Cops there, put his car in front of Milan, is very, well, that car doesn't look too nicely. Still defensive position for now at least. Milan though still getting the DRS surely. Is past CrashVettel there. No answer yet. Well, apart from a little lag there. Takes a little bit too much off the grass. And then some, well, runoff. Surely you can do that. And that's the leaders of the race. Pit F1 and Liar in the pits. And my guess is that Milan might as well come out in front of both of them. And there is Liar coming out. Also CrashVettel getting the jump, but it was not enough. Pit F1 is still leading the race, but that is a brilliant call there. Brilliant strategy call by Milan, who started P7 and is now in P2, just behind Pit F1. That is a mega strategy call, and we'll see if that will haunt him to the end of the race, when he maybe will get some more tire wear on these mediums than the other guys. I'm not even sure if they're gonna end this race on these tires. It's only 16 laps to go. But I really do not have an idea how long these tires are lasting, and that is a mega drift, and he cannot catch it. That is Liar spun around, resetting to the track there. Pretty dangerous indeed. Back to P10. Normally he would have lost even more time and some tire wear as well. So I really don't like seeing people resetting on track. And now in the middle of that fight for P1, we've got Big Summer Blowout and Sam fighting Big Summer Blowout, getting out of the way of all of them, probably involuntarily, as his tires are basically dead. Dives into the pits, and oh my god, Stjert Casamakas. I'm sorry, Stjert. I'm just gonna call you Stjert. Thank you very much for following. Butchered the name again today. Every day you have to butcher a name. That's just normal, man. That's just normal. So, Milan making the move on Sam there. Of course, that is not really for position. Sam shouldn't really be there if you look at his tire wear. Or at his tires in general, as he gets overtaken by the sister team's car of CrashVettel with some contact, I think, as well. CrashVettel now again on the back of Milan there. Coming now onto the hangar straight. CrashVettel is not close enough, almost touching though, but can't get his car positioned next to Milan's. And Flood is still holding on in front there on some older mediums, 10 laps old. Let's see when he wants to get rid of those. Pit is now on the outside and didn't go for the move. It really isn't for position, as Flood is gonna pit anyways. Should be a pretty easy pass by Pit. He's now got the DRS here. And just sails past. And now He can only hope that Vlad is not letting Milan and CrashVettel pass just as easily, so he can get a nice advantage over them, get out of the DRS, and just cruise away in front. And there we go, Milan trying to go to the inside. Vlad is not having any of it, blocks him off as well. It's all fair. And that is just... that is making Pitt very happy, indeed. But now, there's no real defense there, just bad attraction. Out of Beckett's there. And CrashVettel also having a look on the outside. Can he get it past? Just a little bit off track there. But that is Vlad being demoted 2 positions at once. Sakucho being lapped by Vlad right as well. We don't have too many fights going on behind, unfortunately. Got Bomba in P8 doing pretty nicely. Laya probably catching up to him right now. After he had a little spin. Probably the biggest fan of Vettel. But again, that must be CrashVettel, to be honest. The Weasel in P10. It's not the best race for him, surely. On other tracks he was up there, but now only barely in the points. Let's switch back to the front here, as we've got Sam now making his way past Vlad. This is definitely for position, not just some virtual stuff there. As the tire wear between both of them is pretty close to each other. It's exactly the same. I think Sam got a way better exit there. Not even the DRS is gonna help Vlad in this situation. And there we go. Let's go to the back of the grid. We've got Shriver and Tombermans here. Shriver's on the soft, so he's probably gonna pit once again. Meanwhile, Tombermans in front on the hards. And you can see the difference in traction there. But that is Tombermans' round. I'm not quite sure, to be honest, what happened there. I mean, yes, there was a touch. But let's have a look at that again in just a few seconds, when we'll get a replay of that for sure. Laya is now firmly on the back of Bomba, just as I said. A few seconds earlier, really. Gonna be able to go for a move. He has his nose on the inside, but loses the rear once again. Just a tiny bit. Very early on the throttle. Really unsettles the rear there. And we've got Sam. Sam with a little nightmare. Spun round. And down to P7 on these old tires. He did overtake Vlad pretty nicely. But he's of course now back in P4. Probably gonna lose a position again. You win some, you lose some. But that is Vlad Red on some new tires. Firmly past Vlad. Or is he? Is Vlad gonna try something? Well, not Vlad Red. Basiloni. Is he gonna try something? And he did. And he gets his car past Vlad Red. He also had the traction, but the straight line speed seems to be lacking, as Tombermans just DNFs out of the race. Still got his nose in there, it's not gonna help his exit there. And there you can see Tombermans just parking it up. Now Vlad Red again with the DRS, making his way past Vlad Basiloni. He's still there on the outside, but I guess he got a little touch from Bondrax, I think. That sent him outside the track. I don't know if you saw that in the mirrors, but even behind, there's some more fighting going on between big summer blowout. Nope, sorry. That must be a lap task. Yeah, that is the disconnected task. And there is Laya with the overtake on Bomba. Coming into Cops. And he's off. And he's off. He's in the gravel. He just made that move stick, but probably lost his rear, as Bondrax is now also side by side with Flood Red here. No time to waste. Is Flood gonna come back on Bondrax? Not here at least. Not here. And CrashVettel in the meantime only in P6. Not looking too good for him. I mean, P6, that is still 8 points, but he was further up earlier. Probably just saving his tires from falling off. And here's Flood Red now turning on to the Wellington Straight. With the DRS, you can just see him closing in very nicely. It's not enough though. As Laya, after that little off, just here on Cops, goes into the pits for some softs. They will surely last him 10 laps. As we see Flood Red and Bondrax going through Cops corner. And behind, we've got some fights going on. It's between the Weasel and Bomba. It's gone with the Weasel or with Bomba. The Weasel goes out wide, hoping to not get a penalty. Probably a warning though. And that's his way past Bomba. Not really too fair. Made it stick though. Bomba at least still getting the DRS. And there we are. In the front now. Milan has been on the back of pit for a few laps. Having the DRS. Closing in now. Pit is just drifting out wide a little bit. Keeps on the inside. Milan trying for a little switchback move. Is just not close enough at all. Both drivers now coming down, approaching Cops. Definitely Milan with the better run there. Through Maggots and Beckett's. Following each other very closely indeed. But even with the DRS not getting quite close enough to go for a move here. And there we go, we're back on start finish. In real life you would definitely damage your tires like this, following each other very closely. The dirty air, the heat from the car in front would all wear and tear your tires apart. Not in this game though. It's just gonna be the engine that takes a beating. But apparently Milan not having any of it. Really wanting to get his car past. Hey, when is the Azerbaijan race? That is gonna be this evening at 8:45 Central European Summer Time, so in just 2 hours. Thank you very much for providing every single time zone in Europe, basically, Kana. And there we go, Milan. Trying to go for the move. Pit is defending though. Oh, let me maybe go on board, thank you. And we just saw a Toro Rosso off track. That must have been Laya. As CrashVettel is still in there. 1.5 seconds behind Flat Red. Gets overtaken by Shriver though as well. But Milan is still very close to Pit in front. Seven laps to go. And it surely seems like it's between both of these drivers for the win. Now keep in mind, Milan 2 laps fresh, older tires, excuse me. Pit 9 laps on these tires. Milan 11 laps on these tires. Of course that's a clear advantage to Pit. That's probably just gonna be about 4 to 6%. And in the meantime, let's just flick through. So disconnected Haas. We've got Laya off once again. And we've got Tush getting very bad traction, a pretty bad braking zone. Unhappy car to say the least. Just behind some points. Some points positions. Not close enough though. Sam is meanwhile very close to David in front. Almost touching, almost pushing each other. Will Sam get it past? I think he didn't push David outside the track. I think they weren't side by side there. It certainly didn't look like it, and David picks up a 3-second time penalty with that cut. And I've done it again. I've missed the overtake between Milan on Pit. But Pit is still there fighting Milan for P1. He's passed again. And that must be very frustrating for Milan to not get that move done there. Pit now getting very unhappy on the outside curb there, on the exit of Cops. Milan still seems to have some traction, and Pit is off. He probably got a little twitch of oversteer there on the exit of Beckett. And that is Milan now firmly past. Let's see if he can hold on to this position there, as Pit goes very wide indeed. So he'll probably just have to say thanks to that second place. In the front, we still have CrashVettel, Flat Red and Bondrax fighting 7.7 seconds behind P1 and 2. You really can see, even though Pit and Milan were fighting the last few laps, they were able to further open up the gap between P2 and P3. Bondrax with a very nice race indeed. Albeit maybe a little bit unclean, as he spun somebody around just earlier. And talking of spinning, as we have just a few seconds now, we can go back to Shriver and Tombermans fighting there. A replay that I promise you guys. Shriver being on the outside, just cutting across the track, and that is just unfortunate. Unfortunate for both drivers, I think, as CrashVettel, somebody must have lost the rear end there. Dumb replays. I missed some stuff. Flat Red got past both of them. Indeed. Bondrax now into P4. CrashVettel into P5. I saw CrashVettel in the meantime just slightly losing the rear. Pitt is back behind Milan. Are we gonna see a move down the Welling straight? It's definitely a try and a half as they are still side by side, and Pitt is now back in front. Incredible stuff there. Driver seems to be keeping up with these guys out in front, but unfortunately he is a lap behind indeed. Not the best start of the Grand Prix for him. Fraser says, like the Hamilton-Albon incident. That could very well be. And we've got Bomba to have some fights in the midfield in here as well. Bomba and David fighting again. Bomba, of course, on these fresh softs. David on some very old mediums. There's still some time to gain there before he can make a move on David. And in front we have Bondrax getting overtaken. By CrashVettel that must have been, and he made his way past Flood Red as well, who was in P3 earlier. So he must have overtaken two people there. Flood Red is on the outside, which turns to the inside now, of course. Clean racing there. Bondrax just tagging the rear of CrashVettel, and that is definitely not clean. That is CrashVettel in the wall, losing the front wing. Mega frustrating there as he spins up his tires. That was very close indeed. That's a little bit, well, like this incident right here. Yeah, I have to disagree a little bit with like Hamilton-Albon incident. I think, yeah, Shriver just couldn't really do anything. I would probably say that is a racing incident for both of these drivers. Both could have done better there. Although I even think, yeah, Shriver not being anywhere yeah, in the wrong. As Bondrax now makes his way past once again. Getting the replay ready for you guys. And of course, Pitt and Milan still fighting like crazy there. CrashVettel down in P5, P6 again. Of course, going into the pits in just a second. Or is he? No, he's actually staying outside. Out on the track, even though he doesn't have a front wing. Oh, he still seems to have a little bit of a front wing at least. But here we go, back to the fight in front. Old tires for both of these drivers. Looking pretty planted though. Milan just getting a little bit of oversteer, I think. Of course, 2 laps older, these tires. They're coming into Cops. With tire wear, a very, very bad corner to take. I'd be afraid to take this corner in 16 laps old tires, as well as Maggots and Packets. We could see what happens to you if your rears are worn out. If you just have a look at Fraser's car, of course, not the same issue, the same result though. And here we see Milan back on the outside. Pitt braking, well, a little bit earlier initially, or a little bit later initially, but then lifts off way more. Milan is past. Then we've got a little bit of a gap forming between Bondrax and Flood Red. As Shriver actually sets the fastest lap of the race. Faster than Bondrax. There you can see him losing the car. Let's go on board with him. Of course he's ghosted. Doesn't matter anyways. He's got enough space to the car behind. I think he's even running last. Fabio is disconnected and Sakucho is also disconnected, so he's basically running last. Getting the fastest lap away from the guys in front. And there we go, Flat Red still behind Bondrax. Fighting though, in front, just coming through, Maggots and Packets. Milan behind Pit again. Just some great fighting between these two drivers indeed. The Alfa Romeo driver on the outside there, keeping it on track nicely, as far as I can judge from this camera. Pit coming through. The final corner here now. It's gonna be the last lap here, and it's fighting till the end for these two drivers. And here we go. Just Milan taking a pretty wide line, covering off then the inside. Pit taking the racing line, compromising Pit just a little bit there, which is alright. He wasn't even close to being side by side. Although Pit has the DRS, is on the outside, and is firmly passed. Even before turning into the corner, really. That is Milan behind now. He's got one more opportunity after Maggots Beckett with the DRS straight. As they're coming through the old pit straight. Through cops there, pushing as hard as they can, these drivers. Now coming to Maggots and Beckett. And the DRS is gonna open for Milan in just a second. But I think he is way too far back. That's not gonna happen. And there they are. Pit with a great, well, with a great race really. It wasn't dominating, but he certainly was. Oh, it certainly was a start to finish race for him. But look at this. I just now checked. Pit had a 3-second penalty that promotes Milan to P1. Flat Red P3, Bondrax P4. The Weasel is now coming through the final few turns, the final chicane there. Securing 5th place. Blood still on the hangar straight. So are CrashVettel and Sam. CrashVettel just toughing it out without a front wing here. Blood on the soft tires coming through for a nice P6. Certainly earned it. Sam now fighting. CrashVettel spinning across the line. Being demoted due to big summer blowout, not having a penalty. CrashVettel also in front there. You can see how much of his front wing is actually missing. Bomba being very far on the outside there whilst braking. And there we go, a P10 for him. Tush P11 just missing out on the points very closely. Well, but getting demoted quite a few places as David and Stegarul coming over the line. P11, P12 being demoted to P13, and there's Driver. Probably watching the stream. Not sure what he's doing. A lap time of 2:59. Oh, 3 minutes. Finishing the race in style by reversing over the start finish line. And Fraser just saying, Milan is the champion, by the way. So I wasn't aware. No one can catch him now. Fastest lap. And the reverse. So has this been the last race, Fraser? Wasn't really aware of that. I thought there were some more to go. But if this was the last race of the season, first of all, surely congratulations to Milan for that win again. Here we see the results. 3 seconds for Milan, 6 seconds for Pit. No penalties for Flat Red. Bondrax getting demoted 1 place. Was waiting for the camera to be on me. I'm gonna remember that, man. And there we go. This is just the incident table for stewarding, if there's gonna be something. There's gonna be one more race in Germany, my home race. That's very cool indeed. Don't stop watching yet, we still have one replay to look at. That was CrashVettel there, and I think I just missed it. I mistimed it unfortunately, but there we can see him in the wall, losing the majority of his front wing. And that was that then. We had another look at the replay of Shriver and Tombermans here. Just very close stuff. I think that is entirely Tomberman's fault. He should have just turned in a little bit more. But that is it, guys. That was this race. He's over 25 points to me and Crash. So, awesome. Awesome for Milan. Congratulations then on the championship. Do we have a... Oh, maybe we do have a... what's that? A team championship? Team champion already. Constructors champion. Now I've got it. Man. Holy damn. That was hard to say. Oh man, I just saw your comment, PK, on that. On that video. Man, awesome. Yeah, but that was the race. Thank you everybody for watching. Thanks to the drivers for racing today again. Providing great racing for the majority of that Grand Prix. If you haven't left a follow yet, it would be awesomely appreciated if you do so as well. Stuart did it earlier, triggered the nice follower alert. So if you haven't already, leave a follow. Other than that, there's not much to say. And yeah, I think that should be it. Saying goodbye is always hard, guys. I love you all. Just end it, goddammit. Just end it. Just end. So see ya, guys. Have a nice evening.